Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Whittome, and today we are going to be reviewing the Berkeley-Haas case study titled Rocket Fuel, Measuring the Effectiveness of Online Advertising. So to briefly summarize the study itself, we are going to be looking at data that was collected from a company called Tascabella, which began their ad campaign through Rocket Fuel, an advertising agency, in order to determine if showing advertisements to online users would directly impact their sales data. In the study, a control group was shown the above PSA ad in comparison to users who were shown an advertisement for one of Tascabella's handbags. Rocket Fuel then collected the data on how frequently users who saw the ad were converted to buy the product. These are some of the major findings of our analysis. It's clear to us that this campaign was not a complete waste of money, as there is still a marginal profit being made and a very small but present lift value. The lift value is the difference between the conversion rates for control versus non-control group users, which tells us that users who saw the ad made a purchase 0.77% more frequently than those in the control group who were shown a PSA. After reviewing these figures, it is our recommendation that Tascabella continue with ad campaigns and aim at targeting users 120 to 130 times per week at peak traffic times, such as Fridays at 3 p.m., for the most potentially beneficial outcomes. With a current return on investment of around 32%, they could also stand to have much larger margins by tweaking their campaign even just slightly. So in this slide, we're going to be examining whether the advertising campaign for Tascabella was effective in converting users compared to the control group. So after looking at the data, we concluded that additional consumers did convert as a result of being shown the ad campaign, and that customers that were shown the ad were more likely to purchase items compared to those who were not by 0.77%. Additionally, when the chi-squared test was applied to the conversion rates in order to test if the differences between the conversion rates is statistically significant, we returned with a p-value of, it's with 13 zeros, so I think it's 0.000000000017, indicating that the results of the chi-squared test of the conversion rates are statistically significant and that we should reject the null hypothesis that there is no association between whether consumers were shown an ad or a PSA. So essentially, the p-value shows an extremely strong correlation between those who saw an ad and those who made purchases. In this chart, which shows the conversion rate by total numbers of ad impressions, each of the columns accounts for total impression in ranges of 10, with 121 to 130 being the highest range, followed by 151 to 160. Those that were not in the control group experiencing the ad for the first time demonstrated routinely higher conversion rates across all impression variations from 1 to 200. Starting at 61 and up impressions, users seeing the ad showed that they were almost twice as likely to convert and purchase than those in the control group. The highest conversion rate on this bar chart falls into the range of 121 to 130 impressions at 18.82%. However, after this, things kind of began to trend downward again, suggesting that even if users hadn't seen the ad before, they were pretty sick of seeing it after about 130 times. So given that the user response to the advertisement was routinely higher than in the control group, it's pretty safe to say that this ad campaign would be successful in targeting consumers. I would almost argue that paying to advertise to the individual consumer more than 130 times sees very mixed results, which could indicate the cap of the threshold for consumer attention spans. In order to maximize the exposure without foregoing profits, I recommend avoiding the all-out spamming technique. This next chart displays average impressions by day of the week. So as we can see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In this case, the difference between the size of the control group and the rest of this test kind of makes it look like the green control columns of this chart are pretty impossible to read. They're not as relevant in this particular chart though, so that's okay. So if we look at how many impressions users had with this ad, there were just a few key points that stand out about these timeline trends. So Thursdays and Saturdays mark the lowest recorded impressions with 1,711 on Thursday and 1,679 on Saturday. So to dig a little bit further into this, we're going to move on to our next chart, which is displaying average impressions by the hour. So just for the sake of relevancy, the hours between 12 a.m. and 8 a.m. have been hidden from the data in this chart because we can kind of account for a certain amount of lull when people sleep. The most active day of the time of the day that we found is right around 3 p.m. However, traffic seems to be at lowest at about 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. This may suggest that people are not usually as active during these times online, which allows us as a company to make more money by marketing during peak hours closer to the midday. This data may be useful in a marketing analysis as it allows some insight into consumer behavior patterns and shows some potential reasoning behind why some marketing campaigns are unsuccessful. So to conclude, I just want to briefly touch on the success of this campaign overall. Speaking from personal experience with digital media and online advertising, I see $30 a user to kind of be a very high cost for the amount of profit made from a single purchase. The idea that they pay $9 to display their ad to 1,000 people, but it costs them $30 to get a user to actually make a purchase means that only around 1 in 3,000 people viewing the ad are going to make a purchase, which, depending on how you look at it, is pretty unsuccessful for a marketing campaign. All in all, this case study was a great example of how data analysis can be applied to all kinds of different fields of business and why it is especially important to those in marketing like myself. Thanks for watching this video, everyone. I hope you enjoy.